Hey guys, I just want to say thank you for everybody who posts up comments on the YouTube videos or gets a hold of me on Facebook. I had a wicked guy get a hold of me on Facebook, his name's Gunn, asked me a cool question about how I address anterior loaded barbell stuff from front squat, or whether I use the Olympic grip, the bodybuilder grip, and how to actually get bar placement. I find that a really tricky situation for most people. Now, personally speaking, I've abandoned back squatting across the board. I have low back issues. I was never that great at it, where I found that front squatting was really just a lot better for me personally. It doesn't hurt my back. I get a lot more abdominal work instead of my lower back. So I want to show you how I've addressed the comfort issue, which seems to be the initial issue for reasons why people don't get into front squatting. It's my poor shoulders or my bruised shoulders. And I also want to address the issue of the shoulder size, so the muscular size of the shoulder, especially the anterior deltoid. If it's not big enough, so in the circumstance of many women, you want to get them front squatting and they don't have the flexibility at first to build the Olympic, or you don't care about building the Olympic grip, which I personally don't give a crap about. I'm going to show you a couple products that might help. Okay, so first, to address setup, and this is super important because you're going to slide and lose the bar. So I want to show you something. When I set up a front squat, the major issue, again, I'm not using clean grip, okay? I don't have the flexibility for it. I don't care to build the flexibility for it. When I set up a bodybuilder grip, which is more or less that cross grip, when I set that up, I don't get in here and grab my shoulders. And this is where I think everybody goes wrong, is they try to set their shoulders first. But you didn't even worry about where the bar was placed. In a back squat though, you watch somebody set up for a back squat, and the first thing they do is find that specific spot, and then they set their posture. So in a front squat, it shouldn't be any different. Okay, now obviously I would face in the rack, but just to demonstrate what I do. So to find my sweet spot, I'm gonna first make sure I'm in the middle. I'm actually gonna choke myself on purpose. Okay, and this is where, comfort, you have to get used to this if you're gonna get the front squat proper. So I really get that dug in there, because when I do this, I'm sure you can see that my front shoulder is now in front of that bar. And this is super, super important, because that is the only place that bar can rest without slipping, because once it crosses over the front shoulder, it's all downhill, okay? So throat, get your shoulder, get your other shoulder. Now that's not comfortable, I know that. Take 2 fingers only. Cross one, cross the other. Don't pull it off your sweet spot, you gotta get it there. Now from here I'm gonna walk out. Personally speaking, and some people would disagree with me on this, okay? Up to 80% of my max, I choose to use this stance. Now, this is a comfort thing, okay? I've gotten good at the pressure that it puts on the neck. I can quickly get in here if I run into trouble, but this helps me stay upright. If you learn this from the lowest weights possible, and when you cross 70 or 80%, you can bring in the fingers. Now, personally, this is me. Now, let me show that again. Loading the thumb like that. Throat, shoulder, shoulder, cross grip to walk out. Now, when it's heavy, or you don't feel secure, keep your cross grip up. But what I want you to do, right when you head down and you break at the knees and you break at the hips, lift the elbows. Descend, and back up, lift the elbows a little bit on the way down, okay? Now, I'm sure you've seen it. I think it was Charles Poliquin, just come over here. I think it was Charles Poliquin years ago who demonstrated a great way of using straps to help somebody who couldn't get the clean grip, but they wanted to go a lot closer without having to use their cross grip, okay? I used to do this myself. So you take a pair of straps, okay? You pull them across the bar, leaving enough room for your shoulder, make sure they're tight. I think it's actually the reason why I bought these straps, to be honest with you. I've had them for 10 years. Okay, so what this allows me to do, if I don't have the availability or the flexibility to do a clean grip front squat, okay, because of the wrist pain, or the shoulder mobility issues. And then you're going to take the straps, okay? I choke them, they're tight. I'm going to set the bar on my throat. Again, if I'm in a back squat, and the first thing I do is set my placement on my spine, why wouldn't on a front squat I set my placement on my throat? So placement on the throat. Then I'm going to grab my straps, lift my shoulders, and then I'm going to keep this tight and perform. That front squat. Now here's the thing. I've never liked it. It's never worked for me. I don't really feel secure when that's above even 65, 70% max. So I have a better solution for you. There's a product on the market called the Talon Trainer. I think it's made by the same people that make the TRX because it's meant to go on top of it. You can use it for all kinds of stuff. Essentially what it is kind of finger grips that allow you to do rows, pull-ups, you name it. So if I set these on the bar, again, it's called a Talon Trainer. It's got a lot of Velcro, so you can pretty much, I mean, you can hold body weight off a pull-up. I'm sure you can handle your front squat. So I'm going to set these on the bar, make sure they're tight. Okay, pulling them a little bit. Okay. Now how the Talon Trainer works, you take the fingers as if you're Spock, okay? You put the index in the middle, the ring in the pinky, and you get that a nice little grip here, okay? Now this is just 100 times better than the straps, in my opinion, okay? Now what I'm gonna do, I've got this set wide apart. I still need to place it on the throat first. Throat, grip. Now this is a lot more control. You have to understand that, you know, this is a lot more control than those straps are, and this is a lot closer to a clean grip than the strap version was. So from here, okay. The other thing, okay, if something really went wrong, I could throw it. Okay, if something really went wrong. On the strap version, not so much, okay? So again, Talon Trainer, much better way to go if you're really intermediate or you're just trying to work your way up to the flexibility of that clean grip. I think they're like 25, 30 bucks. Now let's talk about women, okay? I think women should just suck it up and learn how to build the pressure because it takes about a month and then you get over the discomfort. But if you're really skinny and you don't have the anterior deltoid size, you know, it may be just too uncomfortable to learn the front squat that you don't actually think about anything more than the pain of it. So therefore, what's the point, okay? So while you're training trainers, okay, while you're training ladies and you're building up enough, you know, those shoulder muscles for them to be able to handle this naked bar on top of the shoulder, there's a product out there called the Stingray, okay? There's usually a loop between here, but it's hella annoying, so I just chopped it off. Now what these do, they're load distributors. There's a back squat product called the Anterior. So what you're going to do is where my shoulders would go, I'm going to snap that on the bar. It says left or right. Okay. Now what this allows me to do, instead of a pinch point or that single point on the bar being where that bar goes, it's going to be distributed across a cap on the shoulder. Okay. So now I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. I can adjust the width if it's not right. Okay, it's easy to adjust. Okay, now from here, again, my choice. I could go straight. And notice the difference it puts between my thumb and my throat. Okay, I can cross grip it. Okay. So that's called the Stingray. Okay, I think you can get them at bodybuilding.com for like 35 bucks. I've had them for like 15 years. You know, they're never going to get trashed. I bought them like 10 years ago probably. All right, now let's talk about my favorite exercise. I love front squat. I do it 3 times a week. I think it's, again, personally preference. I don't even back squat anymore. Front squat's the way to go. So aside from front squat, what else can you do from that anterior, you know, position? So here's what I'm going to show you. Obviously, step-ups. If you haven't seen my last video, you know I'm a fan of step-ups. I love anterior loaded step-ups. I do back-loaded step-ups too, but anterior load takes a lot more front core control. So again, bar change doesn't change how I set it up. I go throat, shoulder, shoulder. I get a cross grip in here. Okay. Okay, so that's one of my favorites. My next favorite, if anybody's ever tried a barbell reverse lunge from the back position, you know that that's kind of scary because of the balance issue. So what I mean by that is, if I'm in a backloaded position and I try reverse lunging, if I ever get into trouble, like what do you do with the barbell? Am I gonna break my calf? Am I going to, you know, hope to hell I can get out of here? What are you gonna do? And so, you know, just being a trainer and doing this long enough to know that there are dangerous situations that probably aren't worth putting your clients in, front-loaded reverse step up or reverse lunges just seems like a better plan. Now, why? Throat, shoulder, shoulder, cross grip. Because if I ever get into trouble with balance, I can throw the bar, sorry for the noise, but I can toss the bar off of me a lot easier than I can in a backloaded position. Now, word to the wise, I don't really ever do this exercise on my own. I always have a spotter anyway. But for sake of argument, I never alternate either. I just think it's too much balance. Okay. Now, when you master that one, this would seem like it would be harder, but in all reality, I find it easier. This is not an exercise you throw 300 pounds on, okay? I maybe get up to 100 if I'm lucky. Again, same placement. Throat, shoulder, shoulder, cross grip. I'm gonna come to the side, okay? I'm gonna make sure that placement is good. I'm gonna sidestep. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do a reverse lunge to a deficit, still anterior loaded. I don't suggest stepping down. It's a bad idea for your knees. Step laterally or step down and walk around the box. Okay, so front squat, put it on your throat, shoulder it, shoulder it. There's a little groove, and it's little, just between or on top of your clavicle or your collarbone before you hit that front shoulder. It's a nice little groove to hold it. If it ever slips over your front shoulder, in my opinion, rack it as soon as possible. Don't try to continue your set and be a hero, all right? Re-rack it, reposition it. If I was in a backloaded squat and it rolled halfway down my back, I wouldn't try to finish the set. I would try to hope to hell I get back to the rack and reposition it. So, throat, shoulder, shoulder, cross. Try that front. I think you might like it, okay? Any questions, please throw them in the comments. If they're big enough, I'll make a video for you. Thanks.